today I've noted down a few points which I wanted to discuss in this video. And today I'm talking about like traditional business of buying and selling garments versus end-to-end business of buying and selling garments. So let's start. I've here noted down a few points like A, B, C. First, I'm going to discuss about traditional buyer and vendor apparel business versus end-to-end business partnership in 2025. Then B is business opportunities during traditional era versus business opportunities during end-to-end era. And then C, most important, I want to discuss about misadvantages taken by people during, people who've been doing a business during traditional era and they do transit to the modern era of end-to-end business. So what are the pros and cons of this situation? So let's discuss. I'm trying to bring the camera close to this so you can see what I've written and then we can discuss further. So keep watching, don't go anywhere. This video is going to be very useful for all the entrepreneurs and people who wanted to come into garment trade, like you wanted to buy and sell, or you wanted to do some wholesale business, or you wanted to do some retail business, or you are a newcomer, you just wanted to do some startup. So this video is for you. So let's start, let's go. So let's start and discuss the comparison between traditional buyer and vendor apparel business to end-to-end business partnership in 2025. So guys, if we compare like traditional buyer-vendor business to end-to-end business partnership in 2025, end-to-end business in modern era, it allows, give an opportunity to people who are like skillful and they don't belong to a business background and still they can contribute to the business. So if we talk about the major comparison between traditional buyer and vendor to end-to-end business, to this end-to-end business, which is modern era way of doing business, doesn't have any buyer and vendor. It's like end-to-end business means like, you're an end-to-end business partners actually instead of buyer and vendor, because this is a time when even the supplier is given an opportunity to discuss and fix up every issues. Now if we talk about like end-to-end business, suppose any business, say we are talking about like apparel business from say if start from basic product introduction and then supplying product samples, and based on product sample we get the similar inquiry, so we work on inquiry, do the costing, and then we get a order or a business on the product, and then we start production and do the shipment. So this is the cycle. Now why this cycle is different in end-to-end business if we compare to traditional way of doing apparel business? In end-to-end business, this is different from traditional business in a way, because suppose if somebody is doing an OEM production for a client, they are connected in the sense at every stage, like what are the target prices of actual client market. Like client can be anyone, say distributor or wholesaler or retailer. So based on the nature of the client, like retailer, suppose his selling cost is, after giving discount obviously, is X, then maybe wholesaler or distributor, their selling point will be like X multiplied by say 0.45. okay, and then the buying cost from the supplier has to be this sum and multiplied by 0.35. This is a basic idea, this is a chain. So end-to-end business, guys, when we talk about like modern way of doing business, both hands, like the supplier and the buyer, they are connected and they have to concern and discuss everything, every cost included at every stage, and what kind of end business is like. Is this a retail end or is this a wholesale end? So based on the nature of the business, both partners, like buyer is also a business partner, supplier is also the business partner, they work on the costing and they go with the agreed profit margin, profit space, which is shared and made by both the partners. and because the market is so clear and black and white, so this is not like traditional era where costings are very hidden. Nowadays, like sources are very open, like Southeast Asia. If you talk about like apparel, everything is like open. So this is a basic difference in traditional business and end-to-end business. Now I wanted to discuss one interesting thing about like end-to-end business opportunities and business opportunities during traditional era. Okay, if we talk about like traditional era, there was no business opportunities for people who doesn't have money. Whereas if you talk about like business opportunity during end-to-end era, it has. Now let's talk. When you do a business, you needed to do some investment. Like if you talk about traditional old days we used to invest money. Now even if you don't have a money and you are skilled and you have knowledge, experience, so your skill or maybe your experience, that can be your investment. And that is how this era has given an introduction to entrepreneurs. So entrepreneurs or skilled people nowadays, suppose basically if you talk about like business is what? Business is like buying and selling in a simple language. Now in a modern day, you can also sell your knowledge. So knowledge is also sold and can generate revenue, and your skill and your experience, like you have some sourcing experiences, you can do some sourcing experiences, and that actually comes here and contribute to this chain: product sample, inquiry, and then this frequency. You can actually contribute here, and you are also investing. You're not investing money, but you are investing your sourcing experience. So you can invest your sourcing experience and you can invest your skills. So this opportunity in traditional era, it was missing. So this is one of the best advantages what end-to-end business 2005 during this modern business era, the market gives an opportunity. What I wanted to discuss is very important because there are people who did transition, like they transit from traditional business to end-to-end phase of modern business, and some of them, they are not able to fit into the end-to-end business. So sometimes what happens, like they try to carry the same traditional buyer vendor psychology to the market where everything is very clear. Now this I wanted to discuss separately and with some screenshots and my experience. So let's go. All right, guys. So let's talk about the point number C. Point number C, what we discuss. This is like disadvantages of end-to-end business, where we discuss about like all the areas, starting from product costing to the product shipment. Both buying side and the supplying side, both are connected. So they need to take care of the ends. That is why we call it a end-to-end business. Whereas in the traditional buying and supplying, like that's the old way of doing business. It's very different, where there's no opportunities for people like skilled and knowledge, where they can sell knowledge as a product. So let's talk about the disadvantages. Okay, so people who were doing a business traditionally, when they came to this era of 2025 end-to-end business, so during their transit, they could not fit into this area of working, where both ends need to complement each other and both ends need to support each other with the real situations, real costing and real targets. So here on the screen, I'm going to share you some screenshots, which I think if I share with you guys will be very important for those people who are trying to work as an entrepreneur and wanted to invest. My part is like, when we get connected with this kind of customers, which actually, they are not understanding what is the importance of end to end, and because they have a background of traditional business where supplier is always supposed to do whatever buyer is asking for. So those kind of people who did a transition from that traditional business, that's a trouble, and how to identify them, so that if you are startups or if you are doing an investment for your knowledge and your skill and your experience, you could avoid those situations and get out of these troubles. So I'm going to give you a few screenshots here and discuss and explain to you, which I think going to be very useful for all of you who is going to be in startups. So guys, watch these, and if you have any questions, just let me ask through my Instagram ID. My Instagram ID is given below in the description. So what I've explained, and also I'm going to attach few screenshots as a reference that can be helpful to all the people who are like newcomers and wanted to do some startups based on their experience and their knowledge. Suppose company on a job, say they have good experience and can do sourcing, so that is experience, and that experience can be invested into a sourcing business, which you might not need to invest any liquid cash or money to establish any business. You can start working as an entrepreneur, or you can work as an independent sourcing specialist, working with a buyer at one end who is looking for competitive sources, and a supplier at the other end who is looking for some potential buyers. So this end-to-end business, my purpose was to highlight few points and disadvantages for this is, now that we have already discussed, is very clear. Like certain things like clarity in the targets like target prices and your target market. In most of the cases, people who are coming doing transition from the traditional business, their chances they might not clarify like their targets, and if you quote anything, they won't be talking or discussing cost breakups. Where end-to-end business, this is very different, where both ends are clear, and market is very transparent these days. So even the raw material, fabric, trims, accessories, is all clear, black and white to everyone. And normally in the end-to-end era of business, people work with initial costing, open costing, and then final costing, and do the negotiation. Like suppose this is what we are coming up to, and in your country, in your destination country, if the duty is this much, like how much we can fix up, or how much we can agree, mutually agreed one profit markup. So this is like, and this also allows independent entrepreneur, like who doesn't invest money, but who is connecting buyer to a supplier, and investing his sourcing experience. So all right guys, so this video was for all the people who are doing who are trying to come as a startups, and I hope this video is going to be helpful for all of them. And on this note, that's all in this video. See you in the next video. Until next time, keep shining and smiling. Bye bye.